Hey, I don't know what I'm doing here. I shouldn't be here. I just had a wild hair. Hey, Ray FPV, Chris Wedgeworth, Jay Bird. I'm a little late. I don't know what I'm doing here. Um, Stuff was running through my brain. Hey, Corey Mano. Hey, TJ. Max there. Happy birthday, Kim. Yes, Furball Kim. He would be 63. Kim and I are like the same. Same age. Well, we're the same age now. His birthday is like 2 weeks after mine. Uncle Chris, you're calling TJ Uncle? Hey, Maddie, how are you, brother? So I don't know. I don't know how to, because that other character's on. And Mike used to do his whistle stop, so call this a backyard whistle stop or whatever. Maddie, that was a cool short you had on with the building dive. I enjoyed that. So, what was I going to talk about? Why am I even here? Oh, so I bought a new vape. And see, here's the problem, man. Why does this thing have a button on it? Because I can just suck on it and it lights up. Yeah, I'll have to check that out, Maddie. Feel free to put the link in here. Link in. I don't know. I can't tell you. Surely you have a wrench, but I don't have YouTube chat up, so I wouldn't know. Look like y'all had a good time down in South Florida, so that's cool. Um, I couldn't make it, obviously. Trying to think of what I'm trying to do here. Oh, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to pop out some chat. That's what I'm trying to do. So I can see whether people have wrenches or not. Subscriptions. I probably screw up here. It's been a while. I'm out of practice. I haven't gone live in forever. Let's see, search. Let's look for that idiot. Love my drones. So I hope everybody's been able to fly. I haven't flown. I haven't flown. I haven't flown at all. It's been a while. Let me just put it that way. Let's see. Love my drones. It doesn't even show me. Oh, wait, there it is. Okay. What do y'all, did y'all see my thumbnail? I hope y'all like my thumbnail. So let me see. I'm probably going to do some echo shit here until I get things under control. Trying to pop out. Did y'all see my thumbnail? All right, here we go. Mute. Got it. Okay, so I got the mute. What's up, fellas? Okay, now I can see the chat. Hey, Susan, Drone Psyche Charlie, Unlimited Vertical. Maddie was already here. Let's see who else was here. Chris Wedgeworth, Max Air 420, TJ, Chris Wedgeworth. So, Miss Susan Lee, pleasure. I watched one of your videos you did, Miss Susan, and it was on my phone, and I'm still learning my phone, and it went on to a next YouTube thing, and I didn't get a chance to comment, so I hated that. So let's see, I'm still working on, let's see, trying to, man, it's been so long since I've gone live. Gotta remember how to do this. It's popping out the chat so I can put the StreamYard side of things. I was watching, oh, crap, I gotta do this. I'm in the wrong window again. StreamYard, let me get back to the live part. Live, yes, okay. Good to see you too, Maddie, Charlie. Everybody. It's been a while since I've done this, so I got eight eyeballs going on. That's okay. I'll take that. It's just I always feel the urge to do this thing. I feel the urge actually, because this is when Mike Night Train would usually do his whistle stops, but he hasn't done that in a while, and I don't know. And then I was on Gary's stream earlier. He calls it the show before the show, and it's because Ken Herring is coming on. And when I first started drones, started playing around with them and all that stuff, I had heard the name Ken Herring thrown around, and it was like, well, I didn't know who he was, and I didn't actively seek him out. So I've always got into the habit of any time his name was mentioned saying, Ken who? And I was like Ken who. It seemed like everybody else knew who Ken Herring was except me, but anyway, so now it's like, I don't really know the guy from Adam, other than he came on the Mitch's stream a few times, and I don't know, it just looked like, man, it's just something about guys that, I get it, you're supposed to be a YouTube personality or whatever, but anyway, when I started, part of it too is this is Furball Kim's birthday. He's, decide call him Tonto to Canadian Drone Hub. I've known them for a long time. Roger Martin and Furball Kim. I've known them forever since I first found them. Let's see, I started my YouTube channel in 2017, I think. And in 2018, I found them, and they were instrumental in helping me get the number of subs I got. So I love them. They're good guys, even though they're Canadians. I know a number of good Canadians, by the way. I'd like to mention, let's see, first of all, it would be, now I'm not going to be able to think of his name. Hey, JD, how are you, brother? This is really ticking me off. Rigor mortis. Mark. I couldn't think of his name for the longest time. What's up, Unlimited Vertical? Marcel. Where's Marcel? I don't see Marcel anywhere. Yeah, rigor mortis. Yes, Unlimited. Exactly, rigor mortis. He said something about doing some live flies. I'm ready to. It's been windy as hell. Hey, Bob Casey, how are you, brother? So which JD is this? If anybody'd like to come on, you're more than welcome to. I can just do this right here. I was thinking that Charlie was talking about going live or doing something earlier. But there's a link if anybody wants to pop in, you know. I don't know, for whatever reason, I felt like, I don't even know what I was thinking about talking. I was going to try not to be political. I'm not going to be political. I'm just going to be Ed, the guy that needs to go fly a drone again because it's been forever since he's done so. It's been a good month. The last flying I did, I didn't even put up a video. So, and then I saw, let's see, Rodney Bell, he put out a little short thing where he fail-safed. Did any of y'all see that? It was like, well, he doesn't have control of that drone right off from the bat. I think the drone, when it started up, was already throwing a brain fart, is what I think. That's just my opinion. And Bob Casey, wasn't it you that brought that wooden flag thingy down to Florida last year? I'm thinking that was you. Hey, Scorched Earth, how are you, Carlos? You brought it down for Jim, Above and Beyond Drones, who has dropped off the face of the earth. But I was going through my phone, and I guess it was hooked up to Google Photos, and it's like, I got so many pictures that are on there from my old phone, and I really need to suck them into my computer because they're right there on my new phone. And I thought that was pretty cool, man. It's not the same SD card or anything because it's Google. It's a Google conspiracy, damn it. You know, even those lips, Carlos, just drive me crazy. Okay, first of all, you're not supposed to be wearing lipstick. You're a dude, okay? Just saying. I mean, I don't know how else you would show a kiss. Now, you know, I'll say this now. See, Carlos, if you were in here, instead of having to type hi to everybody, you could say hello to them with your voice. I know what it is. So I'm going to out Carlos now. I mean, Carlos will come in, and the thing is like, man, I just don't want to say hello to everybody. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you know, oh, especially it's like with the sunrise things, and of late I don't get up early enough. I'm sorry, you know, I know you people get up. There's people that get up, see the sunrise with Dennis Lovelady and Rodney Bell and what's his name? Paul. What's his channel name? I can't even think of his channel name now. What the hell? Drone bomb. Damn. That sounds kind of gay. Anyway, it's too early for me. Cause you know, you guys up there in the Northeast, your sunrise comes earlier than it does in here because here where I'm at in Jacksonville, we're like the armpit of the East Coast. Okay. If you look at a map, we're the armpit. It's just right here. Which usually helps with the hurricanes, by the way. It kind of go one way or the other. Who's Squirrel? Who you calling Squirrel, Bob? No, I know. And I mean, yeah, no, I get it because you go from one sunrise stream to the next, and then everybody just says hi all over again, you know. And what's worse is, okay, what drives me crazy with the phone, well, with the phone, you can't tag anybody. I guess you can, but it doesn't show up as they're being tagged. So it seems like people don't even notice you did it. Like on a computer, at least you can type, you know, an at sign and their name, most of their name will pop up. And then you just roll from there, you know. Squirrel. Why you you know how did you get squirrel out of drone bomb, Bob? I must have misconstrued something. So, as I was saying earlier, I got a new vape. And it's got this button on the side. And I thought I had to push the button to take a hit. But I don't have to do that. All I have to do is pull on it and it works. So I want to know why the darn button is there. Why is the button there if I don't need to push it to take a hit? What, is that like an emergency button? I don't know. Somebody asked me, oh, it's to turn it off. So that's the only thing, that's all it's for? Well, I mean, when I push it, the light comes on. Gives you something to play with. Well, I need things to play with, I guess. Everybody needs things to play with. I know you think I'm a mess, Susan, and you would be right. Literally, 6 months ago, more like 8 months ago now, I thought I'd be dead. I was fully prepared to be dead. But the body just wasn't willing. It's like, damn it, Jim. What's wrong with you? So I kind of got a new lease on life in a way, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like that anymore. I don't feel like, okay, I'm just ready to freaking die now. I don't feel like that anymore. I'm like, well, shit. I guess I just gotta keep on going. Is that crazy or what? Self-realization? I don't know. Hey, Scott, how are you? Mr. Jack Rabbit. How you, brother? Really, you think? I don't know. I mean, I didn't really want to die, Carlos. I was just ready to die. And I thought it was time. But I was wrong. You know, so long and long ago. So thank goodness to my benefactors. They got me through this. You know, really did. Yeah, well, at times, Scott, the arms don't move as fast, but hey, hey, Bill, how are you? Howdy. No, you're right, Carlos. You know, I'm going to do anything to hasten the process. I don't know. I was open to the process at one point, and then I'm like, nah, screw that. It's too much work. So, you know, I've been riding my bicycle. Thank you, Bill. I'm glad you did. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. I'm just running my mouth and had a few beers and just had the urge to go live because it's been a while since I did so. The last time I did it was kind of political, and I've been staying away from that. I'm just Ed being Ed and knowing that I need to go fly again. I hooked up with an old friend I hadn't seen in years over the last few days. The same person that taught me how to sailboat. And man, I want to sail again so bad. I really do. I've had a few loves in my life as far as activities. My latest has been flying drones, although I haven't been doing much of that lately either. Before then, it was flying small planes. before drones. I was flying small planes, the kind you actually fly around in. And then before then, it was sailing, Hobie Cat, catamaran. And I sailed pretty much every weekend and every chance I got on a Hobie 18. Learned how to put it together, and single-hand it. I didn't single-hand it at first. That took a while to get to that place, but man, I'll tell you what, Bill, catamarans are a blast. There's a learning curve. I flipped mine over a couple times. That's not a pleasant experience, but get a boat to pull you over. Actually, managed to ride it. Me, I'm too lightweight. I can't flip one back over by myself. So whenever I single-handed it and I was just by myself, I made sure I didn't flip it. But hey, Jay Bird, you would be surprised how fast those bastards will go. I mean, you can literally go faster than the wind. Because the way you do your sails and stuff, everybody thinks of a sailboat as the wind is pushing you. Nah. You can go with the wind pushing you. But that is actually, with the wind at your back, is actually the slowest point of sail for a Hobie Cat. A Hobie Cat likes the wind on its side. And if you get the wind on the side and you put those sails right, it funnels the wind and it makes it like a jet engine out of the back of the boat. That boat, I've passed power boats with it. So I don't know. People don't understand until they've been on one. There's no way for you to understand until you've been on one. Plus the feeling of speed, you're right close to the water. There's no motor sound going, whatever. It's just the sound of the wind and the sound of the water rushing past the hulls. I've had 6-foot rooster tails coming off the rudders on my boat because it was going so fast. So. Okay, I gotta see what. Yeah, but okay, wave runners. I've never been on a wave runner, Carlos. So I mean, I'm sure it would be a lot of fun. But at the same time, no, I haven't heard from Mitch, and I have not heard from. I haven't tried to reach out to Mitch. I will say that, Jay Bird, because it's been a while. But I reached out to him, I don't know, 6 months ago, and he replied back. But I just didn't want to bother the old prick, And I also reached out to Above and Beyond Drones. He kind of disappeared off the map too, but I enjoyed being around both of them last year at the meetup we had back then. So that was cool. On that note, well, it's 4:21, but I don't care. Adam! Damn it, Adam! Hey, brother. How are you? What are you doing? Hope all's well with you. I don't know what I'm doing here. I just felt the urge to go live, and there's people that decided to come in and talk with me for a minute. Well, nobody's talking with me except in chat. Nobody's come onto the stream. So I'm at a different location. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, staying at an old friend's house, an old sailing partner. We've been friends forever. But Miss Rhonda, I gotta say thanks to Miss Rhonda for taking me in and giving me a place to rest my head. Oh, yeah, well, I completely get that, Carlos. That scooter, 250cc, that sounds actually pretty cool. I don't know what it looks like. But, no, I get, dude, it's crazy out there on the streets. And that's as fast as I need to know. No, that's the same. He's always been scorched earth, Jaybird. Rhonda's awesome, Scott. She, let's just say, okay, all right. There's a few characters that go with my sailing adventures. Scott, but a lot of the times, Ms. Rhonda was there, and one time in particular, a hurricane. Okay, a hurricane was coming up the coast of Florida, but it had stalled off of Daytona Beach. It was just sitting there. And up here in Jacksonville, the wind was going good, and it was gray and overcast, but the wind was like crazy. It was like, but there was no rain. There's no rain. I looked at the radar and all that shit. There's no rain. It was just gray overcast. And the wind was blowing like crazy, and it was nice and steady, and it was all from one direction. And it's like, okay, let me call a few people. I think we need to go sailing. So that's what happened. So Rhonda and Dave, Dave Sapp, we all hooked up and we went sailing. Okay, so we got on the water. We were killing it. I mean, we were killing it. The wind was like crazy, and we were hauling butt. We're in this big open area, and it was starting to get white caps and stuff, but we're just busting through them, and we are hauling ass. Just hitting the waves with the pontoons of the boat, with throwing the water halfway up the sail. The Hobie 18 had a 28-foot mast. It was throwing water 14 feet up onto the sail. And maybe only a third of the way. So that's still 12 feet. So, unbeknownst to us, between the last time I checked on the condition of the storm and when we got the boat all rigged and took off into the ocean, or out into the river, the hurricane had started moving. So it came up along the coast and we're out there sailing. And we noticed that the wind started shifting around and doing crazy shit. So I was trying to compensate for that, but we're still having a blast. We're out there having a blast. We don't realize that the hurricane has moved at this point, by the way. We just knew there were squalls coming through. So anyway, it got wild crazy the way the wind shifted around and we got knocked down. I wasn't quick enough. My reflexes weren't quick enough, and over we went. So we got our shit together. You got to spin the boat into the wind, and then you got to climb. Everybody got to get on the one side and pull back and lean. You get it to pull over. Well, the ropes are all a mess, whatever, and then the wind blows from a different direction and grabs the sail, over we went again. So we go over again. I mean, literally, we're just barely climbing up on the boat and we get knocked over again. So we regroup, reset, get ready to pull her over again. We do that, and as she comes over, the wind switches again, and they fall off. I managed to hang on, and I'm being dragged by the rear crossbar of the catamaran, and I'm like Nantucket sleigh ride. I guess that's the closest thing that comes to it. Meanwhile, they're out there bobbing in the water. I'm trying to get a hold of I climb up over the edge, get onto the boat, and trying to loosen the ropes and get things in order, and the wind shifts again and knocks me down again. Well, at this point, me being me, there's no way I'm pulling that over by myself. I'm just too light. I don't have enough weight. I weighed more now than I do now. And no, it takes two heavy people to pull that boat over. So anyway, so now I'm in the middle of the river, but I'm on the boat. And meanwhile, Rhonda and David, they have their life jackets on, thankfully. But I can just see their head bobbing in the river down there, And then these boats start coming up, coming toward me, because they can see I'm over, because a catamaran on its side, so trampoline is up and down. And it's like, mine was blue, but it's still obvious. You can see it really good. You can tell that's something that's not supposed to be like that. And they start coming to me. Well, I'm fine. The boat won't sink. The hulls are sealed, whatever, I'm good. They're bobbing in the water. So I yelled at that guy, the guy in the boat that came towards me first. I said, "Man overboard," and pointed, towards them. And the next thing I know, the Marine Patrol's out there. The Coast Guard is out there. There's helicopters overhead. I mean, it looks like it's a catastrophe out there, And it really wasn't. I mean, they would have been fine. They could have bobbed around in the, I forgot, the Florida Wildlife Commission or whatever. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, yeah, they had life jackets on. And normally we didn't wear them, but we had all put them on. Well, first of all, it was kind of chilly weather. And the life jackets are actually kind of give you warmth. You know what I mean? So they weren't, normally life jackets are kind of hot. And I always kept them on the boat, but we didn't always wear them. But if it was chilly, we'd wear them, But they were fine. They had their life jackets on. They're just bobbing around the water till they got picked up by the Marine Patrol. Meanwhile, I'm on the catamaran, but the catamaran, by being on its side, and by now the storm's over. The storm's over with. It's kind of calm out there, actually. But there's a little bit of breeze, but it's just steady. The storm's gone. The hurricane had passed by, is what it was all about, But there was enough breeze, and the way the current was, and because the boat was on its side with the trampoline up and down, the trampoline acted like a sail. So it blew the catamaran closer to shore. Now, this particular part of the river, there's the main channel where it's deep and shit. But it was wide there, so there were big mud banks. I mean, there wasn't mud there then because the tide was higher. But in other words, it was basically shallow water. And it blew me into the shallow water. And once it was in the shallow water, then it's not about weight to pull the back boat over. Then you just gotta because out in the middle of the river, you can't push with your feet. The only thing you have to pull with is your weight to pull back over. But when you're in shallow water, if you can stand on the bottom of the river, you can push with your legs. And so I just walked the boat back up, turned it back over, sailed out and back into the middle of the river to pick up Rhonda and David. And I just sailed out there, because by then the wind had died down. But yeah, exactly. You have leverage. So I just sailed back out there, and I consider myself a pretty good sailor. I mean, I've sailed my boat. I've navigated around boats and shit like that. I know how to dump enough wind out of the sail so I can basically idle the sailboat. But you can never, a sailboat, you can't ever just think of it with a quad. You can't just hover a sailboat, because if you try and hover a sailboat, you have no control anymore. You have to have water flowing past the rudders to give you any steering. Otherwise, you're just a cork, like a wine cork in the river. Because you don't have a motor. Your wind is your motor. The wind makes you move. which makes the water go past your rudders, which gives you steering. It's as simple as that. So anyway, it was just funny the way it all went down. But it's one of my most memorable sailing experiences. And there's nobody there that, you know, Rhonda remembers it vividly. I remember Rhonda telling me, Dave was like, swim over here, swim over here. And it's like, no, you swim over here, asshole. I didn't know, dude, you know, there's so many of those times out on the boat. You know, see, back then, a camera or whatever that you could take on a boat to record stuff like that, they didn't exist. I think of the memories, and I'm sure a lot of you guys here too can say the same. So some of the experiences you've had that you wish you had a camera, you wish you had something recording at the time. That's why you see all this funny crap you see on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. It's because everybody's got a video camera with them these days. You know, it's their freaking phone. Doesn't mean they'll have them out, you know, using them or whatever, but yeah, I know. And you know, what's weird is, you know, and I'm sure many of you here have had an amazing life story. And I'm not here to tell you that my life story has been any more special than any of your all's. But I would like to document more of mine. You know, just old pictures that I do have, and just talking on the screen, and, you know, talking about when I used to go flying every weekend with a buddy of mine, just Cessna 172, and we'd fly from the east coast of Florida over to the west coast of Florida, have breakfast, and then just fly back. And I was so into flying in, taught Larry, he was my mentor. And we flew up to Melbourne, picked up my brother, took him for a plane ride, dropped him back down, and then flew back, you know. Just cool shit like that. She does. We laugh about it, Scott. You know, and I should go ask her right now. I'm going to go ask her right now. I'll be right back. Rhonda.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a feeling you're
That's okay. So did you enjoy your trip when we flipped over in the Marine Patrol and all that? No, I don't mean at the very moment. I mean that particular trip. Were we hauling ass or what? Okay.
Of course we were hauling.
I just recounted the story on a live YouTube stream. And so somebody asked, well, what does Rhonda think about that trip? Yes.
Was it somebody that we know?
No. It's somebody I know, but Carlos is in on a conversation too. But you, I know you have. So I don't know what you guys heard. So hey, UFO, Tim, that's right. That's all we're all trying to do. So I just asked Rhonda, and she says, well, at the moment I was bobbing in the river, I didn't exactly enjoy it. She goes, who wants to know? I'm like, well, I'm doing this YouTube stream, and people want to know how Rhonda felt about that particular sailing adventure. Gutsy, gutsy. I wasn't ever left for dead out in the water by myself. Oh, wait, you're talking about when I went scuba diving. No, they just forgot about me, Carlos. That was another one of my near-death experiences. Near-death experiences. That's not a story I necessarily like to be reminded of. That was a trip. You know, you can be rather nuanced at times, Carlos. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, but I've been forgotten many times, but not recently. Now, there are people that I've ignored just because they might have called me a dumbass or something, but what can I say? And not even ignored, really, just not reached out to, and that's bad. But then I'm a prick. Well, so what can I say? Well, it's always Carlos's fault. I mean, come on, dude. Yeah, Carlos, I feel so stupid with this bait. And then you thought, oh, well, the button's just to turn it on and off, you dumbass. I don't know. My other boat, vape, you had to push the button. Just had to push the button. So, Miss Susan, I mean, I know you're up there in Maine, so what was your high temperature today? What was your low temperature? Yeah, well, even Carlos is up north. He's in New York. He's in New York City, though. That's a little different. The heat of the city keeps everything warmer. So, Scott, Jackrabbit, yeah, so you're out Tallahassee way, Scott? It definitely gets colder out there than it does where I'm at. Because it gets a little bit colder where I'm at now than where I was in St. Augustine, but still not as much. Still, kind of close to the ocean. 21. See, that's cold. Cold for me. I'd be wanting the long johns with the battery packs on them. Yeah, well, she's in Maine. How big is her backyard? I'm sure she's ready for 41 now. Let's see, it's 69 here, Susan. What's the temp where you're at, Carlos? Yeah, I know. I'm sure you do. 51 still. It's 69 here, so. Mount Cadata. Where is that, Scott? Where is Mount Cadata? I love Maine. Okay, I'll tell you right now. It's been years since I've been there. Let's see, I was 17. Let's see, 17. Okay, I was born in 59. I was 17 when I went through Maine. So, let's just say 1960. So I guess would have been. I don't care. I can't do the math now. So went to Portland, Maine. Had some family there. They had a store there in Portland, Maine. They didn't actually live in Portland, but we went and looked at the ships. Portland is a fishing town, and they got a lot of the old shops and stuff like that. Well, again, that was a long time ago. I'm sure it's still the same touristy spot. Anyway, these particular people that we're staying with that were related to my family in some way or another, they made furniture, but where their place was in outside the city. It was more out in the country. It was pretty cool, and they made furniture out of real wood, and they shaved it and all. I mean, it was fine furniture. It wasn't anything that you would buy in frickin' Walmart. Let's just put it that way. And but we went from there. We were going to Canada, so we left from Portland, Maine, and we went up. And I can't remember the name of the road, but it kind of ran diagonally, and it ran along the Kennebec River. And I remember it was the first time. I mean, I'd read books like, Canadian stuff and Paul Bunyan and all that, where they put the logs in the river and float them down the river to get them to the sawmill or whatever. And going from Portland, Maine to Quebec along the Kennebec River was the first time I'd ever seen logs floated in a river. And I thought it was, wow, that's cool. But I mean, it was a beautiful ride along the Kennebec, and actually saw where the Appalachian Trail actually crossed it at one point. I remember seeing that. It was really cool. And Maine's beautiful. I just can't imagine being there for the winter time. That's just too cold. Way too cold. One of the guys here is he's in Maine too. Moosehead, I think it is. Paul Bunyan statue in Rumford. Oh, really? I can't remember the whole Paul Bunyan story. I mean, I remember hearing about him. You know, he's one of the things that we probably learned about him in school. Is he a real guy or just a mythical guy? I mean, I don't know. I remember he was a mighty. There's a guy. There's a cool station. Okay, if y'all are into the age I'm joining, how are you? Hey, Bob, how are you, brother? The beginning of the trail. That's cool. I forgot about the ox. How are you, Bob? Well, I knew he was a lumberjack, Jim. I knew that. I just wasn't I wasn't sure if he was real or not. You know, there's legends, you know, like let's see, was Davy Crockett real? Davy Crockett was real, but Daniel Boone wasn't, I think, is how it goes. Or maybe it's the other way around. They were just legends that were made up. You know, or they just changed over time, you know, who knows. I'm sure I'm trying to think of the movie it was. There was a movie, and it literally said, what was it? Where people would say that, well, that's just an old myth. And it's like, yeah, well, usually myths come from things that actually happen, you know, and maybe things got exaggerated along the way. Who knows? They might have been brought down along the way. Who knows? But did it just cook out of the clear blue air? Or was there something to that story? Trust me, I know all about people that embellish their tales. I've probably embellished a few myself. The Bay of Fundy. Now, I've heard of the Bay of Fundy. So, was it fun? I don't know. I've never been there. I've heard of that. I know I've heard that name, Bay of Fundy. So, I guess I've kind of run out of things to say. Otherwise, I get political. I have a lot to say about that, but I'm not going to. Well, they probably were full of shit during days, Bob. So, I mean, y'all tell me, okay, so the what any of y'all out there, I mean, what's the most exciting thing that you think you've ever done? Like Carlos, that shit he did with jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. Now, see, I wouldn't have done that. That's beyond what I would have done. And I it'd be cool if Carlos would drag his ass in here and share that experience with us instead of me relaying it second freaking hand, you know. But he's such a prick that way. He literally climbed out on the arm of a airplane so that he could jump off of it, basically. And no, I ain't doing that. I mean, I kind of get. I know a lot of people have done the skydiving thing. They all enjoyed it. Me, I'd rather fly the damn plane instead of jump out of it. Okay. I know it doesn't. Dude, Carlos, the fact that it was a static line doesn't matter. Okay. I can get the static line thing taking some of the balls factor out of it if you just had to get pushed out the side of the plane. But no. You had to climb out on the freaking wing. Granted, you had a static line. Granted, it's going to pull the parachute for you, but you still got to climb your ass out on that wing first. So that's just messed up. I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, on one of the flights we took, it was after Larry got his new plane, his little Piper. I can't remember. We stopped somewhere to get some fuel, maybe eat lunch. I'm not sure. But I wasn't used to this plane, and when I closed my door to the plane, it didn't latch properly. Okay, you can call operator error. Maybe it was. Okay, I'm not trying to. Anyway, so we take off, and once we get a little bit of airspeed, we're still just taking off the field, but we're getting into cruising speed, and we're turning to head toward this destination because when you take off from an airport or when you land, there's a pattern. Usually it's a left-hand pattern, and so even if when you're taking off, even if where you want to go is straight ahead, usually you go ahead and go around as you gain altitude and then you head out. Yeah, although you can announce that you're heading straight out, you can do that. But for whatever reason, maybe we just had to make a 90-degree turn or whatever. So then you usually stay with the pattern kind of deal. And anyway, my door came open. Let me tell you, you're doing 120 miles an hour. The door comes open, there's kind of a suction kind of thing going on. It's like, oh, shit. And I'm trying to pull the door back closed, and I mean, like, I'm pulling with all my might to hold that bastard just against the door. I mean, I have a belt on. It's not like I'm worried about falling out, but when I reached out to pull that door back in, yeah, you're looking down, and there's the ground couple of, 500-600 feet down there. It's kind of trippy. And especially when you just can't pull it. closed. And so Larry ended up, I couldn't get closed in the air. Larry ended up doing a quick landing, and then I could close it fine. Because it didn't have that slipstream. It was creating this weird kind of vacuum. You'd think it'd be a vacuum, but no, it was creating a thingy where you literally cannot pull the door in tight enough to where you could latch it. So that was kind of freaky. No, I know. I'm sure it's exciting. That sounds very exciting to me. Um, People, again, I'm not. There's just something for me about jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. I'd rather fly it than jump out of it. Okay, that's all. But what these guys do with these parachutes, especially the parachutes that you can fly like a hang glider and shit, that's badass. And these fools that get out there, hey Michael, how are you, brother? And these fools that get out there with those bat suits and all that, more power to them too, man. A few of them have died, but that's pretty badass. But here's the problem with all that. It's the learning curve. If you're a little bit outside the learning curve, then you're dead, man. There aren't many second chances with that, you know. You jump, you do one of those wingsuit things, you know, because I'm sure you've all seen them too, you know, where the guys go down these crazy descents where they're going through mountain valleys and shit like that, you know, and then they run out of altitude at some point. So when they reach a certain point and they know they're getting low, they'll pop a parachute, so they can come on down. But you gotta imagine the learning curve on that. How many chances do you get? If you screw up once, you're probably A, dead, or B, be so screwed up you're not going to be able to try and do it again. Or 3, you don't screw up and by some miracle you manage to survive. And then the next time you do it, you'll probably be better at it. You know, I'm just saying, it's just like, how's there a safety net for trying stuff like that? There isn't really when you think about it. And that's what always amazes me is some of the stunts I've seen done or whatever. It's like, well, what person ever thought that was a bright idea in the first place? But somehow they're still alive. So, man, there's still 10 people here. I can't believe that. I haven't been talking about anything. I have nothing relative to share either. Other than what I already did. I told some Ed story. I was going through my Google Photos earlier today, and there were things that just, it's weird. I didn't realize they were all there. I suddenly realized how much I'm allowing Google to spy on my ass. Apparently, all my pictures that I take go right to Google. They're all available. I shared a couple today from like I don't know, 10 years ago. It's like, oh my God. The way I look at it, here's the way I look at it. I look at it as this way, is that I'm just a small little crustacean in a vast sea of life. So no one should care about my ass. As far, as far as hacking my digital identity or anything like that. Because they got to be really desperate if they're going after me. Well, that's cool, Scott. I got to read back, see what you're saying. I am in a new place, Michael. Miss Rhonda took me in. I'm done with the trailer. Scott. Okay, I just looking back up the chat. All right. So I'll tell you this, Scott. New York was pretty cool when I visited it. Not that it didn't have its problems, but it was still cool. I drove into Manhattan on a Friday night, and this was before Giuliani cleaned the place up. Now, since then, since Giuliani, New York has gone back to hell in a handbasket, but I don't know if it's worse now than it was before Giuliani. I don't know. I have no frame of reference to that. The guy was with Dave. He same cat that was on the same guy that was on the sailboat when the hurricane went by, actually. But we went to New York City, and he was my guide. And again, this is pre-Giuliani, so but I never felt scared. I never felt intimidated. I mean, we went on the subway, and that dude, I looked like Mr. Tourist, completely like Mr. Tourist. I had my video camera. It was a mini VHC. So it wasn't like a big old bulky shoulder camera, but I mean, you could put it on your hand, but it was still fairly big. But I looked like a total tourist, and those are the ones that all the criminals go after. But I was never threatened. Never. I did the subway. I got video on the subway, all that shit. It was pretty cool. It was an experience. It was weird because back then, we went to this hotel. Again, like I said, I drove my Chevy van into Manhattan on a Friday night. It was like 8:30, 9:30, I don't know. It was dark. People just pull over in the middle of the street and just park. You have to go around them, whatever. It was a trip. I was coming from upstate New York. We did the turnpike, which basically back then ran east-west along New York. So all along it was Dave and I were going from Syracuse to Manhattan, and all along there it was 55 miles an hour along the turnpike, and everybody's doing 55. There might have been somebody 56, but that was it. That these people were apparently very afraid of the state troopers because they weren't busting those speed limits. And then I got close to the city, New York City. And I don't know, I didn't see somebody waving the green flag, but somebody had to be waving a green flag because all of a sudden, mind you, no speed limit signs had changed. Not a freaking, even if there was any more speed limit signs, I'm not aware. I'm not sure. All there is, somebody waved a green flag and then it was off to the races. So I'm like, oh my God, naturally you speed up because otherwise you're just going to get run over. So, but I didn't go to their speed. Anyway, so I remember it was really weird because I had a 44 special under my seat. Um, come from Florida, man. Whatever. I knew New York City gun laws were kind of, you know, restrictive. It didn't matter. I wasn't driving in New York City without a firearm. So I wasn't even thinking about it. That's just where I always kept that gun under there anyway, under the front seat. So at some point, I guess the turnpike was basically east-west, but it joined into some highway system or whatever, and then it turned south. And I guess, I don't know, now it's the Bronx. I'm not sure. But I saw apartment buildings where the apartment building, it looked like a bomb had hit one end of it, where the whole end of the building had fallen off. And there'd be like an empty pipe sticking out of it or whatever. But in the rest of the building, there were still lights on. Obviously, people were still living there. And I'm like, oh, that's so weird. And so then the guy that I'm riding with, Dave, the same guy during the hurricane sailing trip, says, okay, get off on this exit. It was right past the bombed out building because that's what it looked like. It looked like an apartment building that somebody had dropped a bomb on, but just hit the end of it. Didn't hit the middle, whatever. But as like the bomb had been dropped, I don't know, a month before, 6 months before, who knows. But it was like the rest of the people in the building was like, okay, that's cool. That's down the hall. It doesn't concern me. Actually, the ventilation is a little bit better now. I don't know. It was weird. So Dave says, okay, get off on this exit, this next exit. Get off on that. I'm like, okay. So I did. I got off on the exit. And he goes, and all of a sudden he's going, quick, roll up your windows. All right, okay. We did that. I didn't see anything threatening, but apparently he thought it was a bad place to be. But I'm telling you, we did not drive more than 5 blocks. And then I look at all of a sudden, well, and definitely the landscape changed. It was amazing how quick it changed and how much it changed. And then I saw a street sign. and we were on Park Avenue. And like, oh my God. We went from worry about your throat getting slit to would you like to buy a $20,000 ring or whatever? I don't know. It was fucking weird, man. And I mean, I've seen places where it was only a matter. I I mean, I've seen a few places where it was only a matter of blocks to where you went from one extreme to another, but never had I seen anything more dramatic than that. Hey, Rigger, how are you, brother? How are you, Mark? I've had a rather interesting life, Scott. I, for whatever, is it narcissistic of me to think that I should try and do the life of Ed? Because, see, I guarantee you most all of y'all out there have had some kind of interesting life. I mean, we've all had, you just need to look at it. I'm hanging in there, Rigger. Hope you are under that Trudeau guy you got going on, you poor bastard. Don't feel bad, because we got a pretty screwed up guy. I'm going to say, I'm not going to take this political, but I just will say that. You got a screwed up prime minister, and we got a screwed up president, okay? Yes, indeed. Hey, Bill, how are you, Newfoundland? I wasn't abducted, but I had a gun pointed to my forehead. Yeah, that was an interesting experience. But I'm still here. I guess my head was too hard. At the pull, the trigger was never pulled, thankfully. Thankfully, the guy that had the gun to my head wasn't the crazy one. No, maybe he was. The other guy calmed him down. I got to think about it. It kind of turns your life in a different perspective, though, when you've had a gun put to your forehead. Which is why I like to have surveillance cameras and be away from the main door opening unless I can see, have an ample field of view. Because I will not go quietly into the night. I will rage. I will rage against the dark of the night.
I just didn't get on enjoy it then.
No, I hear you, Rigger. I understand. That was a home invasion, and it was completely unexpected. And ever since then, let me just say this, Rigger, it was a teachable moment. Because before that time, I had never thought about a home invasion. And the front door at the place I was at was right into the living room where we were at. And had the door been locked, it'd have been completely different. But the door wasn't locked. you know. Back in those days, we didn't think you had to keep your freaking front door locked. Home invasions were unheard of, or almost unheard of. I hadn't heard of it. It wasn't a concern to me. Plus, it wasn't my house, so I didn't even think about that aspect. But ever since then, where I lived, and y'all have seen numerous streams from my old place. And there was a door basically where I sat for any of my live streams when I was live streaming inside, was right at my back. But that door was never used. It had a couch in front of it. And it had a padlock on it too, for that matter. No, they had come through the back door. And I had cameras on that. I knew you were coming. Otherwise, the door would be locked. Yeah, well, bar fights. I never did the bar fight things. Robbie the Lock. Who the heck is Robbie the Lock? No, I hear you. I hear you, Bill. It's Bill, isn't it? Newfoundland? I'm not a fighter either. I'd rather leave. It's like, hey, you got an issue? I'll see you later. You know, it's when sometimes you just gotta. If they come at you, if they're an antagonist, otherwise, like, you're an idiot, get away from me. You don't even know what you're talking about. Okay, I was thinking it was. I keep waiting. Okay, so, Bill, I want to get an e-bike. I really do. You should see the ridiculous bicycle I'm riding around on now. But at least nobody will steal it. But you had to train the hostility out of yourself. Let's see. I've been hostile at times, Mark, but I never considered myself a hostile person. I've always been more of a lover, like, Newfie said, Newfoundland. And I don't like getting, what's the word? I don't want to say argumentative, but, some people are just so stupid. You can't help but have to say something to them. I mean, have you ever seen that? It's just like they'll say something. I'm like, I just can't hold my tongue. I'm like, you can't honestly believe that, can you? It's like, you have to be some kind of special idiot to believe that. You've been like brainwashed or something. Well, I don't know. I calm sheep. I would like to mention a few people. Okay. First of all, I want to shout out. He said, "Bring your wife along." That's funny. I'm a lovable teddy bear. There are. Those are the special K people. Special K. I want to. If y'all like some humor when it comes to idiots and stuff, there's a channel I kind of want to promote a little bit. Shit, I guess I have to look for a link, but you can probably search for it yourself. But he's pretty funny. The name of the channel is Zeducation. Zeducation. education. It's pretty funny. He does one on Wednesdays. He does one on Sundays. He calls it "Try Not to Laugh," and he puts all these different memes out there. So I kind of like the guy. He's from Wisconsin. I think it's Wisconsin. And I know it's not Michigan, but anyway, he's pretty cool. I like him. There you go. So I like him. It is. I think it's a great show. Um, I'm a Dan Bongino fan, uh, and that's the Sousa. But for funny stuff, education's pretty cool. I like him. So subscribe to his ass. Tell him I sent you. Not that he'll know who the hell I am, but it doesn't matter. I like to watch his shows, and some of you have sent some of his memes that I've captured from his stream. I've put them on Messenger and stuff like that. So he's a good kid. Just had a baby. Give him some shit about his baby, whatever. I don't know. But there's some fine people out there, some of the YouTube stuff gets old. I'm not exactly Mr. Excitement either, but I love you guys. I thank you all for being here. I don't know what it says. There must not be. Oh yeah, there's that Heron guy out there. Well, he's not near as fun as me. Ken who? I don't know. Anyway, I just felt the urge to say hello. Did I miss? Did I cover? Yeah, exactly. Ken who? Did I cover what all I wanted to cover? I don't know. I don't remember what I wanted to cover. I kind of covered a little bit of flying, a little bit of not wanting to jump out of planes, and hi, Eugene, how are you? I couldn't help myself, Mr. JRCs. I'm sorry. Covered a little bit of sailing, a sailing story. I have a lot of stories to tell. When I went to the Okefenokee and we were playing gator tag and shit like that and shooting fireworks out of the back of a van. I can't believe we didn't get arrested during that. I have a lot of stories that aren't fiction. They're actually true, that actually happened. Who was it? Scott. He said, "You've had quite an interesting life." I have to say, yes, I have. I think I have. I've almost died everywhere, every way you can think of. Electrocution. I can't say falling. Is falling a means of death? I've certainly fallen, but not any real repercussions from that. But electrocuted, certainly. Drowning, certainly. Scuba diving in the Keys. Fire, yes. Room caught on fire. Let's see, I covered drowning. How many ways are there to die? I don't know. Where's Furball? Furball's not in here, is he? No way. No, I'm not in jail. Why does this look like jail? Yes, behind, I'm in jail, John, and that poster, that Led Zeppelin poster over there, that is covering a hole in my cell wall, and I'm going to crawl through that hole through the sewer system to make my way to the outside. Wonderland free? What? You watching Disney movies, Danny? What the heck? Disney is banned. No Disney. Trying to subjugate your kids. Yes, Escape from Alcatraz. No, Mr. J. Shawshank Redemption. Remember the Shawshank Redemption? And it was Miss Fuzzy Pants. And the warden throws a rock at Miss Fuzzy Pants, who was Jane Fonda. And the pebble the rock he throws goes through the poster and then rattles on on behind, and that's how they know about the tunnel. Later, Mark. Great to see you. Say hello to the family. Miss Dorothy, and then brain fart. Ruby and Ainsley. I got them all. Not in the right order, but I got them all. Tell them I love them. Say hello. And after a while, Crocodile. And I need to go too. I mean, I've been here long enough. I don't really have anything else to say. So, thank you all for being here. I can't tell you how much it made my day. And after a while, crocodiles. See you later, alligators. Love ya.